It is 9 o'clock. It is the 24th day of December and the 24th day of Vlogmas, and I am still the Grinch that stole Christmas, the grumpy guide to all things gaming. It's time to once again take a look at the top RPG stories of the year. We already did this earlier where we talked about the whole lawsuit thing, but there were some RPG stories that were worth revisiting. So now that we've had a chance to calm down, and let's take a look. So the top Dungeons and Dragons news stories for 2020 were pretty much 90% all involving this whole bullshit about, censorship and whatever. The only really stories that, and people leaving Wizards of the Coast, being sued by Wizards of the Coast, Wizards of the Coast getting sued, blah, blah, blah. So really the only stories that didn't have anything to do with lawsuits and diversity and that bullshit in regards to Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons were stories about Critical Role. So yeah, not a very good year for Dungeons and Dragons news. So considering pretty much all of it is directly or indirectly related to all this censorship, SJW, Wotc, inclusion, diversity, lawsuit crap. Okay, so top 20 RPG stories not involving Wizards of the Coast mainly dealt with companies shutting down, stuff like that, or companies converting their product to 5e because they feel that its 5e was better set than theirs. We do have some event news that is exciting that has nothing to do with that for the top 20 stories that weren't D&D related. The One Ring and Adventures in Middle-earth product line is now going to be done by Free League, the same people who did my favorite role-playing game, Tales from the Loop. And they are also doing Twilight 2000, so that's pretty good. That was one of the number one stories. While Dungeons and Dragons was obviously the number one selling role-playing game of 2020, strangely enough, the number two role-playing game selling number of 2020 was Call of Cthulhu. So way to go, Chaosium. A Batman role-playing game was announced. Somebody was lucky enough to get the Batman license, but we know, from history that most of the Batman RPGs have not done well. That's about it. I mean, most of the news, again, was either we're converting our product to 5e or we're going out of business. And then, of course, we had the 2020 Emmy winners and the 2020 Game of the Year from Gamma. The 2020 Game of the Year from the Ennies was Aliens, a role-playing game by Free League Publishing, and Mark Borg by Free League Publishing. And the 2020 Game of the Year, according to Gamma, was Teens in Space. So way to go, D&D, for not winning a single award and not being recognized at all by the Ennies or Gamma or Origins as even worth anything other than some artwork awards. And finally, Pathfinder stories of 2020. Pazio felt that they had to apologize for one of their adventuring paths because they felt it was insensitive with all the police-themed violence going on in the world, even though it had nothing to do with police. It took place in a fantasy world and dealt with the town player characters helping the town guard investigate stuff in things. So that's it. Other than that, Pathfinder doing a lot of pocket stuff. So, yeah, wow. Not a great year for positive RPG news because most of it is just either Critical Role or Wizards of the Coast getting in trouble for something or feeling they have to apologize for something or Pazio getting in trouble for something or feeling like they have to apologize for something. And the only companies that are doing well, really, that are just like, hey, we're still going to do shit and fuck all this crap, is Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu is the number 2 selling role-playing game of 2020. So way to go. Of course, obviously the most distressing news for 2020 in regards to our hobby is how badly friendly local game shops are being affected by the COVID shutdown and the economic distress. So please, 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 even if it's just to buy a couple dice, support your local game shop if you're with it. You know, you have one. Most of them are doing curbside, so you don't have to be afraid about going in. Really, we need these shops to stay open. So instead of ordering product from Amazon, even though it's easier, consider just calling your friendly local game shop, asking them if they have Call of Cthulhu or Morkborg or Tales from the Loop, and buying it from them. So that's it. That brings the news of the year pretty much to the end. The next week will be after Christmas, going into New Year's. I don't expect there to be a lot of news, but we will do it as always because, hey, this is our number one broadcast that we do every week. So I hope you appreciate the fact that I bring this to you. And if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to the OG GMM Ventures, please just consider subscribing. Support me, Rockstar. I will sell out, and I do need sponsors. I will talk to you later, losers. Happy Christmas.